Meet Sylvia Ho, a lawyer who's got the legal info that business people need to know.
Hi everyone, it's Sylvia Ho. I am going to give you a quick lesson on legal terms in form contract. We handle contracts all the time, whether it's in our personal life or whether it's in our business life. I'll give you an example of a personal life contract that we all engage in without lawyers. A rental car agreement. A rental car agreement is a contract. We don't go to a lawyer to review it, but we're bound by it. And in the case of, a bigger purchase, such as a home purchase, most people are represented by lawyers who explain the consequences of the legal transaction to them. But oftentimes, business owners engage in contracts without having lawyers review their commitments. And so what I'm trying to do here in this video is to just flag some terms for you. When you see those terms, you may want to have a lawyer review your contract. So here we go. Our first term is boilerplate. Now, what is boilerplate? Boilerplate is a term that lawyers use for form contracts written by a party's lawyer. So when you review boilerplate, it's usually a terminology that has been used by lawyers to protect their clients. So when you're presented to with a contract by the other party, it's usually written by a lawyer that is going to write in boilerplate that is going to protect them. So some of the words that we're going to be reviewing now are boilerplate. And I'm going to explain what these terms mean and why you might want to have a lawyer review the contract once you see them. So the first term is hold harmless. When you see this in a contract, it's usually in a section of liability, meaning if something goes wrong, who's going to pay? So the word hold harmless means I promise not to sue you, even if you're wrong. So that's pretty harsh. It means that if you're engaging in an activity with a person who's presenting you with a contract, you have promised not to sue them. The next term is indemnify, and that's very related to hold harmless. The word indemnify means I will pay your liabilities if you are sued. And oftentimes this includes attorney's fees and costs. So if you're subcontracting to someone and you've promised to indemnify them, that means that you've promised to pay for their attorney's fees and their liability if they're sued. And oftentimes, hold harmless and indemnify, those two words, the phrases go together. So usually it will come with hold harmless, meaning I will not sue you, and indemnify, meaning I will pay for your liabilities if you're sued, including your attorney's fees and costs. So you might want to get that reviewed by an attorney before you go in and understand what it is that you're agreeing to. The next word is guarantee. Now, these words, the word guarantee most often comes in lending agreements, financing agreements, and then also commercial lease agreements. And when we create a corporate form, such as a corporation or an LLC, a limited liability company, we've protected ourselves personally from personal liability. That's a corporate protection. But once I guarantee something, that means that I have decided not to have that corporate form protect me, so that I am paying personally for my company's liability. So when you see the word guarantee, that is a red flag there. Now, there's an assumption that guarantees cannot be negotiated, and that's not really true. So you might want to have your lawyer look at the agreement and negotiate that guarantee. Maybe you can negotiate it out. Maybe you can give some other form of reassurance so that your personal assets are not in jeopardy. So the next word is joint and several liability. And in that is a concept where, say, 5 partners go into a venture together, and each partner puts $20,000 in. Oftentimes I get asked, am I liable to the extent of $20,000 if we're sued for $100,000? And the answer when there is joint and several liability is no, you are liable for $100,000. So if your agreement, if your contract uses the term joint and several liability, that means if he or she won't pay or can't pay, you will look to me to pay for all of us. So that's a flag for you to sort of manage your risk by assessing whether or not you want to have this term in your agreement with each other or negotiate yourself out. And the best way to do that is to have a lawyer negotiate that for you. So I hope that was really helpful for you. I hope that you read your contracts. It's very important. You'd be surprised. And I'm sure that if you're watching this, maybe you are wondering whether you reviewed your contract closely enough, but you really should, because it will, if things go wrong, you have signed an agreement where you've made certain promises. Read your contracts. And if you see these words, definitely go and seek legal advice. Thanks. Hope this was helpful.